So, Ruby Dairy, before we go into the presentation that you're going to be doing, because we've
Sure.
touched a lot right now on culture and we've touched a lot on heritage, and obviously we haven't really honed in on the travel part for a traveler
Trinidad and
that's coming
Tobago
into
and
Trinidad.
stuff. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you one or two questions.
Sure.
So a traveler that's about to go into Trinidad and Tobago, what type of food does Trinidad and Tobago offer? And can you tell us a dish that you would personally recommend for a first-time visitor and why? Like, what? Oh, come on, you know what I'm saying? Make our mouth water.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing is that, okay, so when I go into the presentation, I say that Trinidad and Tobago is the infinite island, right? It is the place where 5 civilizations arrived and were allowed to grow into the space and to be in a way that in spaces that are white supremacist spaces, that doesn't happen. But because it was African leadership and, leadership that had gone through that Caribbean process of freedom and those things, it emancipated people to be able to enter into the landscape in a particular kind of way. And one of the ways that manifests itself is Trinidad is a festival island. So we go through a cycle of festivals of all the different peoples throughout the year. Native American peoples, the Caribs, Yarrocks, or what are their real names, the Siboney, Kalinago, Warao people, and East Indians, Europeans, the Africans, like we go through their cycle of sacred and secular festivals. Attached to those things are all these culinary, like masterworks that were things that from ancestral things, but that have now become creolized in this landscape and become new things. Of those, I can't pick one, but I will say 4 that I think kind of give you a sense of the palette that is available when you come into Trinidad and Tobago. The first one I would say is the bacon shark at Maracas Bay, right? The bacon shark at Maracas Bay is called by the New York Times the ultimate sandwich in the world. It is a mixture. It is just what it is. It is fried bake, flat fried break, and fried shark from the waters there most of the time. But on it is a whole series of vegetables, from lettuce and tomatoes and pineapples. Inside there, you could put, if you want, and you have the spread. You could choose. You could put your garlic and your onions and whatever, and those kinds of things. Your cheese if you want, whatever. But on top of that are the spices, right? Your shadow benny, your pepper sauce, all the East Indian spices. I mean, you have, you put your mango chutney. You could put it is a million tastes bursting off in your mouth at the same time, and textures of the bread into the shark, into the vegetables, into all the other things, and all these cascading spices and stuff, and and you could, if you want, you could put your ketchup and your mustard and your regular condiments inside there too. But it's an amazing, amazing, amazing taste. And I said, like, if New York Times say, like, hey, sandwich of the planet, this is it. It is that. So I'd say there, and because the corollary to that is that you're going to Maracas Beach. So you're getting Maracas or Blanchisseuse or Las Cuevas or any one of those beaches on that side, all which have different characters. But that dish. Now, on the other side of that, you have roti, right? The Trinidadian roti, the East Indian delicacy, which is folded, what people would say is almost like flatbread, but it's not really flatbread. It is a loose dough, fold skin of paratha, dal puri, with there's basapshat and there's dal puri. Basapshat is silky, smooth, broken up skin that you pull on, it's like silk. And dal puri is with the paratha is with these peas inside, chickpeas, ground chickpeas inside. And you can have inside, you have conch curry, conch, you have beef, you have chicken, boneless, or with bone, vegetable roti. I mean, you have the full panorama and stuff, but is the way that Trinidad approaches curry and stuff is, I mean, I've tasted curries from India and other parts of the world and that kind of stuff. No, there's something else happening with the Trinidad and Tobago curry. And Chief Brand, who's one of the great manufacturers and stuff, is a Trinidad and Tobago branded, you know, of curry powder and all these, you know, those things. So a good roti is otherworldly experience. That's on the side of the East Indian side. Inside of there, you have pilau, which is like the national dish, right? So I would say pilau alongside kalaloo, right? So pilau is rice and peas. Again, rice and peas is a staple of a lot of African diaspora communities and that kind of stuff. It is the nature of the preparation, how the rice is browned, how, again, the herbs and spices, simply because, again, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, you have European, African, native, East Indian, all of that coming into, you have the spice heritages and seasonings of all these peoples coming to, you know, come into play. And you could see people refining taste is like a sprig of this, some of this, and that kind of stuff. And that's what you get in a really good pilau, you know, when the rice is really browned, and the stewed chicken with brown rice, pigeon peas. Some people will use black-eyed peas, you know, and normally done with a coleslaw or salad. And a Sunday lunch, you will add to that macaroni pie and a kalaloo, right? So kalaloo, you know, they say there's Amerindian antecedents and there's African antecedents for kalaloo, but it is a soup made from dasheen bush. Soup being is like a hard soup from dasheen bush, okra, again, a whole host of seasonings and stuff, pimento and all kinds of things, pumpkin and all those things, and then on topping it off a hot pepper, which you put to flavor the entire thing, and you have to hope that it doesn't bust, right? So it's there through the osmosis of it when it's being boiled. The flavor of the pepper seeps into the dish without giving you the burning part of the heat. So you get the heat, but without the sting, right? Unless it bursts, which you don't want to happen, right? And so it's this green stuff. And I have images of these things in the, right, so somebody's saying, don't forget crab and kalaloo. So that's the Tobago side. Yeah. Tobago, because Tobago, these are fisher folk, and you get fresh fish right off, just like a lot of the islands, you get fresh fish off. So like you're getting crab, lobster in the kalaloo in Tobago. So you have on the beach, you can get these things fresh made, you know, these dishes fresh. So, I mean, so that's the thing about Trinidad. I mean, through that culinary experience I just described, you kind of get a sense of all these intersecting kind of influences. I says the infinite island is all of those things, and refined, you know, by great chefs and great mothers and grandmothers, you know, figuring out what if I use some of them people thing and I put some of that and stuff. Taste that for me, you know, like, you know, and stuff. And then you have the festivals where everybody's meeting. And one of the reasons why the festivals have worked to humanize the landscape. One of the only places in the world where Hindus and Muslims, Black and East Indians and whites, everybody's living like that. You know, I mean, it's because the food, you know, you might be vexed with somebody, say, but have to go over tomorrow for someone. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, I vex. But We go have that argument after I go over tomorrow and taste some of that, some of that roti or taste some of that pilau or whatever and that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, so I mean, that is the beauty of festival living, and you know, with food anchoring a civilization, basically.
No, that is so beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you as well, Ruby Dairy. There was a part of me that was like, at the same time, I was like, I wish I didn't ask him that question, but he had my throat watering. As you,
Well, me too, eh? I so like I know thinking it's like, boy, I mean, it's like